a possible ancient crystal radio transmitter or receiver. Archaeologists have discovered some very strange artifacts in the ancient Angkor temple complex by Shasrang Basin in Cambodia. It was here that archaeologists unearthed 2 stone turtles, but both had one oddity. The first had a square, the second a triangular niche tightly closed on top with perfectly fitted cover. Inside of the rectangular turtle, they found a strange gel, which they took a sample of. Will the ancients ever cease to amaze us? Why was it placed in this stone vessel? Why was it buried in the temple premises? They confirm that these stone turtles are at least 1,000 years old, but maybe much older. The second stone turtle, which was also buried in the mud, has a triangular lid on its body, and what the archaeologists have found inside is shocking. They found neatly polished quartz crystals. Hundreds of neatly polished quartz crystals were placed in the triangular niche in the statue. Once they were discovered, the locals began to come in large numbers. Cambodians are very spiritual people, and they performed all kinds of rituals with these artifacts and crystals. But is it just spiritual energy radiating from them? Or is there a science behind it all? I mean, why did the ancient builders carve hundreds of crystalline quartz stones, polish and cherish them? Today, we use the same material in semiconductors for transistors, integrated circuits. The first radio communication devices we used were made entirely of crystalline quartz. Is it possible that the ancient builders used some kind of radio communication device? But before you decide, wait. Inside of the triangular turtle, they found a roll of bronze wire. Archaeologists are confused by this. Mainstream, they simply ignore it, saying that these are just threads for religious purposes. Bronze threads are never used in any Hindu or Buddhist ritual. It is unheard of. These are bronze wires, and the ancient builder used them for a different reason. Bronze is not a metal, it is an alloy made of several metals, such as copper and tin. But wait a second, there's more. Is it just a coincidence that they found crystal quartz and bronze wire side by side? Look at the crystal radios we used decades ago. They were simple devices made from wires and crystal quartz. Only the antenna is missing, and they could make a crystal radio device out of these objects and start receiving signals. But wait, this isn't the end. Archaeologists also unearthed, very close to the turtles, high-quality metal rods with 3 prongs like a trident sticking out in the air. They could have been used as antennas for radio communications in ancient times. Who could they have talked to? Is it possible? Well, we know that today we get these FRBs, fast radio bursts, which sound like this. And mainstream cosmologists and physicists have no idea what's causing them. Could they possibly be artificial? I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. You think it's possible the ancients could have had a radio in ancient times? That's not all either. We're getting mystery signal from 4,000 light years away, which is nothing like cosmologists have seen before. And a strange signal from the core of our galaxy. I don't know about you, but the more I learn about the ancients, the more I scratch my head in amazement of everything they knew. At one time on this planet, long ago, there were some very intelligent beings, to say the least. You know, sometimes in order to get one thing, you have to go through 7 different steps to get there. And then when you get to the 8th thing, all the 7 steps were forgotten on how to get there. Just like NASA says we can't remember how to get to the moon. Well, I suppose it's possible. Information can be lost by just one catastrophe. So just think, I wonder how many times information has been lost. It would be really... Speaking of radio bursts, Earth seems to be pretty popular these days as a mysterious energy source, unlike anything astronomers have seen before. As coming across the waves there, the team mapping radio waves in the universe has discovered something unusual that releases a giant burst of energy 3 times an hour. And it's unlike anything astronomers have seen before. It has to be electricity that's releasing. The team had discovered they think it could be a neutron star, which are impossible, or a white dwarf. Collapsed cores of stars with an ultra-powerful magnetic field spinning in space. I mean, they just got the greatest imagination when it comes to that. But in reality, we know what it is. It's electricity that's doing it. And cores of stars are probably made of iron. The strange object sends out a beam of radiation that crosses Earth's line of sight. And for 1 minute in every 20 is one of the brightest radio sources in the sky. And it's 4,000 light years away from Earth. So it's in our galactic backyard. There's a self-proclaimed kind of con man / self-proclaimed psychic named Uri Geller. Some of you that name might be familiar to you. He is so serious about it. I think he wrote President Biden a letter saying that this is an alien force on its way to Earth to attack. I kid you not. But anyways, that's another source of radio waves coming in. We also have another one where we're getting a mysterious signal from the core of the Milky Way. And we also are getting a strange radio signal from Ganymede. That's pretty interesting in itself. So yeah, space is pretty busy, with signals. And like this one, it flares 3 times an hour. It's like clockwork too. That's why some think that they're some kind of rudimentary communication device for aliens or extraterrestrial. I don't particularly subscribe to that hypothesis. It does exist though. Now, I'm only a layman, as you know. I'm no expert, but I would imagine what we're seeing is some kind of capacitor going off. Or maybe plasmoid. Plasmoid. It's interesting, but they're not going to ever get it because they're living in the fictitious world of dark energy and gravity. Now, if they find anything reasonably facsimilating a speaker, then it'll be a done deal. But until then, I reserve judgment. What do you say? Ancient radio? Possible? Pure coincidence. There is just one more discovery to report on in this affair, and that is this stone was unearthed with this diagram carved into it. The diagram just happens to be one of the symbols for sound. Still, think it's a coincidence? Thinking back to it. That video is